Time for another episode of the GEICO 15 Minutes or Less Coaches Show with the head coach of the College of Charleston Cougars, Doug Wojcik, brought to you by GEICO, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call GEICO at 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO, or visit geico.com. And we welcome you inside TD Arena here in downtown Charleston. Good again to be back home. Another road trip for you guys. Successful road trip. It's been a heck of a swing. You and I were talking about this during the radio show and also on the bus a little bit. But wins against Boston College here, but then you guys go on the road, win against Baylor, win against Charleston Southern on the road, win against Elon on the road. I'm sure you've been happy down the stretch here.
I really have. We have been as a staff and as a team. The interesting thing, I don't think I put much thought into it prior to, just because you don't want to worry too much about things, but when you think about the taxing on the team to go to Baylor and win, and then an emotional Super Bowl game for Charleston Southern at their place, bandbox, hot, humid gym, and then another one in Elon, who's picked in the North Division to win it with some really good players after they came off a win at Georgia Southern. I'm really proud of our team to come through that week and get those 3 wins.
As you well know now, 2 tricky places to win, at Charleston Southern, at Elon. Elon, a very unique atmosphere there as well.
May never see either place again. I don't know. Who knows? But Elon, that's maybe the first and last time that we play them. Yeah. And then, of course, Charleston Southern, we'll see where that whole situation goes.
Yeah, well, again, congratulations on the win for the Cougars. 56-54 is the final. Now 5-2 overall. Always good to start out Southern Conference play at 1-0. Let's get right to it. Our man of the game was Willis Hall. 19 points and 12 rebounds. Yeah, you know, coming into the season, it was a guy who wasn't even starting. But obviously, with the injury to Trent Wideman, Willis Hall has really stepped up for you.
Well, you know, the whole starting thing is, you know, a little bit overrated. I've got 3 really good players in Ajayi Baru, Trent Wideman, and Willis Hall. And, you know, he was coming off the ACL. In fact, the first couple games, I mean, he didn't really play well against Towson. He didn't really play well against St. John's. But, you know, he's kind of stepped it up. He's a great kid. As I said in the paper, you know, who do you want to lose with? And let me tell you, Willis Hall is one of those guys who's a foxhole guy that you're going to go to battle with. And he's really done a great job, made shots, defended, rebounded. He's a winner.
He just plays with tremendous heart. I mean, I think that's why it seems like he's in the right place at the right time all the time, because he just always plays. I mean, he has a great motor, high energy, smart guy. He just always seems to be in the right place for you.
Well, I think what you said there, smart guy. He has a high IQ for the game. Some kids could be great athletes, but they don't have a high IQ for the game. They don't know where the ball's coming off the rim and, you know, situations. The other side of him is obviously he's a great free throw shooter. So at the end of the game, I want an Andrew Lawrence at the line, I want an Anthony Stitt at the line, and I want a Willis Hall at the free throw line, and that's really important as you play tight games on the road.
I love talking stats with you. At the hotel, you and I got a chance to really break down some stats. I know some ones that are very important to you, but let's start with the assists. 28 assists now for the team in the last 2 games. I know that's something you guys have been working on.
It is. I think the other side of that, the other stat that's important there are the turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always nice to have more assists than turnovers. But you have really 2 good ball handling guards in Anthony and Andrew, and they're able to penetrate a defense and play off of ball screens and able to get other guys shots. And so a Nori Johnson, a Willis, and a Ajayi, they've got to be ready to score, ready to shoot off of their pass. So I think we're growing that. I think that'll continue to get better. And of course, the level of competition we've played is very, very high level competition. So that assist to turnover ratio, I think, will even get better as the season goes along.
See, I wasn't going to mention the turnovers.
Well, it's an aspect. I mean, we have to talk about it, and certainly we have to talk about it heading into tomorrow's game against Louisville. I mean, they turn people over so much with their press that we really got to take care of the ball.
Yeah, it was one of those nights. Both teams really had trouble hanging on to the ball. 19 turnovers for the College. Andrew Lawrence with 8 turnovers, obviously very uncharacteristically high for him, but he kept wiping his hands on his shorts. I don't know what was going on, but the ball was flying all over the place.
I asked him if he was having an out-of-body experience at the timeout. And on Sunday, yesterday, I led our film session with nothing but the turnovers, not in a negative way. I was going to put a Comedy Central graphic up beforehand, and I showed not only his, but a bunch of ours. I mean, hopefully we got him out of our system, because I was out of my mind. I think I may have lost some hair on Saturday night, because it wasn't, some of them weren't even forced.
Yeah.
I mean, they were dribbling off our leg, throwing it out of bounds. I mean, it was just like, you guys got money on the game, or what's the deal here? But I think we're out. You know, hopefully we're through that. He had a bad game, and it's just move on, Andrew. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
On a positive note, the rebounding, you guys again out-rebound Elon 35-31, so a +4. But really, more importantly, when you take a look at the large picture, you've out-rebounded every single opponent now this season.
We have, and I think they're really doing a great job with it. They've bought into it. You know, the key thing too is I think we're defending the three-point line.
Yeah.
You know, the only reason Elon comes back, we give up 2 3-pointers on dribble handoffs, a handoff at the top of the key on Eisenbarger. But you held Eisenbarger 5 points below his average, and did a great job on him and did a great job on Troutman. So not only the rebounding, but the defense leading up to the rebounding.
We've talked a lot about Baru, very close to another double-double. He continues to be aggressive, had another good game for you.
Well, he's aggressive, but like Willis, he's shown a lot of IQ for the game. He's playing the game with a lot of smarts and intelligence, because you're talking about a kid playing, you know, upwards to 37, 38, 39 minutes a game without Trent Wideman right now. We go 4 games without Trent, and Ajay's really stepped up, but he's playing without fouling. You have to give him a lot of credit to play so hard and with a motor and have endurance, but also with the IQ to play without fouling, because that's a really key stat for us right now while Trent's out. You know, one thing I forgot to mention, right at the outset of that game, you guys fall behind early. I think 7 turnovers early on in that game. The crowd is all into it, all excited. But I mentioned on the radio broadcast, I think that's what you brought to this team this year, you and your staff, is a mental discipline and mental toughness, because the guys really hung in there and did a good job, really kind of battling through adversity there early on. Well, it's funny. I told the team on Sunday it was one of those games, and every coach who's ever coached has these games. You're almost like fighting your own team. Yeah. We were fighting I was fighting my own team there in that first half, settled down, and what you saw, I thought we were a step slow. What you saw is the fatigue and the emotion that came out in a game, a win at Baylor, you know, driving back to Houston and getting in at 2 in the morning and flying back. Mm-hmm. You know, meeting a challenge and rallying to, you know, be up 10 twice against Charleston Southern, be up 14 with 6.5 to go or 5.5 to go, and not put them away and win that emotional game. So you saw that at the beginning of the game, and then yet by the end of the first half, you were up 29-24, and you run in the locker room with a 5-point lead. To me, you know, that's mental toughness, team toughness, everyone kind of contributing for the cause. Whether it was pretty or not, it really didn't matter. Right. Again, it's our GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast with the head coach, Doug Wojcik. The College of Charleston wins it by a final of 56-54 over Elon. Now 5-2 on the season, 1-0 in conference play. A lot to talk about when we come back. We'll get an update on Trent Wideman for you. Also talk about the CAA. I also want to talk to you about your coaching staff. They've done a great job for you this season as well. Back with more on the GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast right after this.
GEICO says, let's make life simpler.
Look, I'm all for modern conveniences. But ask yourself, do you really need a blender with 23 buttons just to chop an onion? At GEICO, we think life should be simpler. So we make it super simple to save on car insurance. Just one click and you could be on your way to saving hundreds. Come on, people. Life doesn't have to be that complicated.
GEICO. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
And welcome back inside TD Arena. It's our weekly GEICO podcast with the head coach, Doug Wojcik of the College of Charleston. Cougars win at 56-54 over Elon. A lot of other things to talk about. We just talked about the win. You guys won 4 straight. Big game coming up, obviously, against Louisville this week. But first off, the big news that broke on Friday, just before our game on Saturday against Elon, was the official move, the official vote by the Board of Trustees to the CAA. Just want to get your thoughts. Kind of an exciting change coming up.
Well, you know, it's early on. You don't know, because I don't know the Southern Conference, and I didn't feel like I had a horse in the race to have a strong opinion because of the history of the Southern Conference. But Looking at it, I really believe that President Benson and Joe Hall really had vision. I mean, when you see the activity that took place over the last 2 weeks and the movement in football and how Conference USA is just grabbing schools now, I think it's the right thing, and I think it's really good for us as we move forward. I mean, one thing I'm tracking right now is our RPI, and you know, right now we've played this great schedule, right? And in the RPI, when it's all said and done, they project your RPI for the year. They have our schedule projected in the 300s.
Wow.
So, I mean, Furman's dead last right now in the RPI.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Citadel's, you know, in 340, and those guys, I like them. I like Jeff Jackson, I like Chuck Drizel, but here we're playing this big-time schedule. St. John's is 26th. Right now, we have the highest RPI in the Southern Conference, and those things matter as you kind of go through the season. As you're trying to take your program to postseason, it's not about just winning games. It's like putting yourself in a position to be in postseason, whether it's the NCAA tournament, the NIT, the CBI. You really have to have an RPI. So I think, in the end, I think it's the right thing for us.
Speaking of big RPI games, you got one coming up this week against Louisville. They'll come in round number 5 in the country. They've had a great season, obviously, but before we talk about Louisville, let's get a Trent Wideman update as well. Team's been playing well without him. Any chance to get him back this season?
Incredible how well we've played without him.
Yeah.
You know, you win games, you're in a good place as a team.
Yeah.
But we just had a wonderful workout on Sunday. We arrived here on Sunday morning at 3 in the morning. Came back and worked them out, tried to get the soreness out of them and stretched and everything, and he ran on Sunday. So I really believe that things are moving in a good way for Trent's recovery and coming back to the team, and it would really help us to have a two-headed monster to be able to play like a Troutman without with a Jai, and then take a Jai out, give him some rest, and now a Trent.
Yeah.
Two different looks for a guy like that. So we're hopeful.
One other thing I want to touch on is your coaching staff. Haven't had a chance to talk about them too much this season. We've been so busy, but they have done such a good job for you. If you could just talk about the coaching staff with Amir and Ryan and Joe and Jordan and Rich, all these guys doing a great job.
Yeah, they really have, really organized. Joe knows his role as ops and just really is a professional and has a lot of experience. And then the 3 full-time guys, they're new for me. And it's been just a great thing for me to have kind of fresh start and new ideas. And you know, recruiting-wise, we signed 2 really good players in Terrence O'Donohue and Joe Cheerley. We're really excited about those guys. And now game prep. I think our guys are always talking to my players and have a relationship. Before I came down here, TD was in the office, Anthony Stitt was in the office. Those things really matter, that you have a relationship and you have trust. And then, of course, these guys are really preparing the team for games because, of course, they have about a week to prepare for a game, and I have about 2 days to prepare for a game. So we're really kind of hitting on all cylinders, and I'm really, really proud of them.
All right, so big contest coming up against Louisville. Obviously, they'll be playing without their center, but still a big-time team. Rick Pitino comes to town, very talented team.
Oh, they have other centers.
Yeah,
I mean,
several.
Yeah, but it's Peyton Siva and Russ Smith. Not to take away anything from Black Shear and Bohannon. They're really good players there, but they've had some tight ones now. They had tight ones against programs that are like us. Northern Iowa, they win by 5. They win by 3 the other day against Illinois State, and this is their first true road game of the year. I'm excited. We're confident. We're healthy, minus Trent. So the kids don't have school on Tuesday. It's a reading day before finals start. So hopefully they'll be well rested and we'll have a great crowd. And, really great opportunity for us.
You'll get a chance to see TD Arena full and at its finest, I'm sure.
I am excited about that because obviously the Charleston Classic, wasn't quite your home. It was a home game, but it wasn't your normal home game. And this has been on the schedule for a long time. So we're excited. Congratulations, winners of 4 straight. Big win on the road at Elon. 1-0 start in conference play. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks a lot, Joe. That's Doug Wojcik, head coach for the College of Charleston, on our GEICO 15 Minutes or Less podcast. Hopefully we're able to do it again. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.